Hello everybody, it's me, psychic medium Daniel Monroe. I am back here on YouTube. It's been a long time since I've done a YouTube video, I think about a year or two, but I really want to get back into it because a lot of you know my whole backstory and whatnot. I didn't have a teacher to help me as like a human being as well, because I'm trying to get right and align with the universe as well, but also as a psychic medium. And so something that I would always do is just watch a lot of videos here on YouTube and on social media and do a lot of reading. And so I really want to get back into creating content for you guys, and not just the psychic medium side of things, but also the spiritual development and as a human being as well. So today's topic that we're going to be talking about is sadness, and this is something that's very vulnerable and personal to me, and I just want to help you guys through dealing with that and realizing it, and talking about my life experiences. Hopefully that will help you as well. So if you want to learn a little bit more about that, then keep on watching. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and dive into it. So something that I went through recently in my personal life, and again outside of readings and sessions and Facebook Live and all the different things with work, but in my personal life, I was going through a lot of transitioning of friendships and also relationships with family members. And so regardless if it's something with you, either with a partner, a cousin, a fiance, whatever it is, any type of relationship you can apply this to. And so I was going through a lot of transitions with a friendship of mine, and also with a couple of really good clients that became friends during a moment. But all of that kind of hit me at once, and especially with the holidays and whatnot coming around, right around the corner, it all started caving in. And a lot of times when we start to set boundaries in life, that ripple effect will happen, and regardless if they notice it or not, energy-wise, people are picking up on it, because when you are trying to set strict boundaries for yourself and for your own mental health and your own spiritual growth, that is going to have a lot of effect, regardless, again, if they realize it or not. So once I started setting boundaries, I started noticing different things in different friendships and relationships that I had. And so I started drawing the boundaries, and I won't get into too much personal detail with that, but something that happened, I want to say about a week or so ago, is, again, transition all of that, but I woke up on a Monday trying to get ready for the work day. But something that I realized is I distract myself just like all of you with my phone. So either just scrolling through social media, even if you're sitting at a coffee shop, and the coffee shop, you're standing in line and you're not busy on your phone, but you're acting like you're busy scrolling through Facebook or Instagram just to not be in that moment. And so I realize I do that a lot, even with myself, even when it's me just taking a bath and trying to relax, and I tell myself I'm gonna relax, but yet I'm over here watching makeup tutorials or inspirational other things from other people, instead of actually just sitting down and checking in with myself. So one day I woke up in a funk, and I was just like, what's happening? Am I mad? Am I tired? No, I got enough sleep. So I was like, all right, Daniel, what's going on? Let's go take a hot Epsom salt bath and try to figure this out. So I did. I filled up the bathtub, got in it, but I was like, all right, I did go and reach for my phone, but I told myself, nope, we're not gonna pick it up. We're gonna try to focus on connecting with our higher self, what's really going on. And so got into the bathtub, and I was like, all right, so what am I feeling? What am I actually truly feeling? And I realized in that moment that I actually don't ask myself that a lot. And when I did get the chance to ask myself, because again, I distract myself just like all of you on a daily, I was actually giving myself the opportunity to kind of check in with my soul and kind of check in with how I'm feeling and what I'm going through. And that's when I realized that I was sad. And I was like, wow. Once I told myself that I'm feeling sad, I then realized that I didn't want to feel sad or admit that I was sad ever. Even as a child, I realized that I would cover it up with anger or being pissed off or just over it, and that's what I would tell people, oh, I'll fix it one day, or I'll just bottle it up inside just like everybody else. And so I realized that I kept making excuses for when I was sad, because it made me feel like I was weak, or I wasn't okay with it, or I wasn't okay with myself, because again, that's a huge vulnerability to sit here and say, today I'm sad. But then I realized Because in the past, what I was taught from my own upbringing is when you're sad, that's not allowed. You got to bottle it up. I grew up on a farm. We had tasks. We had to go milk the cows. We had to go do this. We had to go deliver. We had to whatever. You don't have time to talk about your feelings. You don't have time to feel sad. And so you flip that switch, you keep going to the next thing. We would wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning and not come back in until sometimes midnight. Depends on how the cows are doing. I know, can you imagine me on a farm? No, thank you. That's why I don't drink dairy as much anymore. But anyways, that's a different story for a different day. But I realized that I was still in that pattern from what I was taught as a child, to not feel, kind of like Elsa, conceal, don't feel, move on with your life. No, I realized that I, again, would cover it up with anger, because that sadness would turn into anger and frustration because I wasn't being heard. I wasn't being validated. And I realized that I continued doing that even with myself. So later that day, I was like, okay, being sad is a weakness. But then I caught myself going, no, Daniel, it's not a weakness. It's okay to feel sad, but growing and holding space for healing. So I realized that throughout the day, the sadness wasn't going to get easier, but with each day of holding space, the sadness the next day will become a little bit more heavy, and the next day, and the next day, and then one day you'll be okay with it. You'll be okay with you and your decisions of setting those healthy boundaries. It doesn't matter if other people like it or not, but as long as you are okay with you and living your best life with the people that support you, then that's perfect. So I went through the day and I realized I felt more empowered. I felt more actually in love with myself, and not trying to sound vain or anything, but I actually gave myself the opportunity to feel sadness and tell myself it was okay, because one day it's going to change. It's going to come and you're going to be okay. And so later on that day, I went home, I journaled my experience through the day, and then once I journaled and again allowed myself that space for healing is when other things started popping up. So then I was having a conversation with my partner about it. I was like, listen, I woke up, I was sad, and this is what I experienced, and I realized I didn't give myself enough time. But then I also realized in that moment when I was, again, talking about it and holding that space for healing, instead of just writing it down, not talking about it with anybody, and moving on to the next page of the next day, I actually was vulnerable with my partner to be able to talk about what I felt that day. And so I sat down and I was like, listen, babe, this is what I felt through the day. And when I did that is when I realized that I wasn't just sad for me. I used to sit here and tell myself that growing up, because of abandonment issues, and I'm the youngest of 7, that I was mad at my oldest brother. I was mad at the other brother. I was mad at this sister. I was mad at my mom. I was mad at my dad. I was pissed at this person. But then I realized that I wasn't actually mad with them. I again was covering up all that past built up stuff that no longer serves me with anger and rage, because I didn't want to admit that I was actually sad. I was sad for the experiences that I had, but also sad for the experiences that they went through as well. Because something had to happen for them to leave when I was young. Something had to happen to my mother and my father when they were young for them to be the person that they are today. So when I flipped that switch, I got goosies. When I was able to flip that switch and realize that in that moment, I can look at it as a different aspect and not only hold space for healing for myself, but also healing for them as well. And when I gave myself that vulnerability and that moment to breathe, be present, I can hold space to transition and start looking at it from a different perspective. And so I again realized I wasn't angry growing up. I was sad. Just like the other day, I wasn't angry that I lost a friend. I was sad. But I told myself it's gonna, 1, get better, and 2, the more you transition and the more you become aware of that vulnerability, the more you can hold space for that healing of not only you, but also for them. So it's my prayer and my intent for all of you watching this, and I know I rambled on and whatnot, but hopefully you can learn how to start asking yourself when you say, I'm pissed, I'm this, I'm that, that's a distraction. What are you actually going through? What are you actually feeling? That doesn't make you weak. That doesn't make you any less of a human being. That doesn't make you not being Beyonce or whatever the case may be. That makes you taking back the power of whatever it is you're covering it up. That is you taking back your ownership of, this is how I'm feeling, this is how I'm gonna be able to heal it, and this is how I'm gonna be able to move on. And once, again, it's not going to come overnight, but as long as you can understand that it's a process, then everything will come a little bit easier. So again, it's my prayer and my intent that through this random story was able to help you at home start asking yourself, so you can do a little homework. What am I truly feeling today? Again, not pissed, I'm not this. Dig a little bit deeper. I'm upset. Okay, why am I upset? I'm hurt. Why am I hurt? I'm pissed. Why am I pissed? Go a little bit deeper, because then when you can stop covering it up with, oh, I'm just busy, or oh, I'm just frustrated, but I'll get to it, or oh, my house is chaotic and that pisses me off. Dig a little bit deeper, because when we're just covering it up with other things, we're not holding that space for healing. So again, it's my prayer and my intent that you guys are able to connect with your soul on a higher level. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it was super long and random, but again, I hope I was able to help at least one person out there. So make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe for other videos, because I have a bunch of other fun things coming up for you guys, which I'm super excited about. And sit with yourself today. Ask yourself what you're truly feeling. I highly recommend journaling it. And I will see you guys next time. Bye, you guys.